Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic in the middle of Idaho. And tonight, there's going to be a little bit of a hiccup in my normal plans for schedules. Tonight, I'm going to go ahead and do the spiritual themed one that I usually do on the last Tuesday, because I have another plan for the end of the month. So, we are going to do the meditation that goes along with the journey and discovering the fairy realm. And both the first video and the second video on Odyssey and YouTube are linked below. If you haven't seen those, you can go check those out and just kind of get a little bit of a refresher, if you will. Otherwise, we'll hop into a brief go over here, and then we will go into the meditation. So, and we're gonna try out the music thing. I found some YouTube approved music. We'll see we'll see how this works. So in the first video, I went over some information about just in general what the fairy means. Kind of some of the lore and some of the history, a little bit about where the fairy exists, the different meanings of the fae. And in the second video, I went over, was a little bit more introductory with the different characters that are involved. We went over the Seelie and the Unseelie clans within the Sheehan, the fairy home, the fairy mounds. We went through introducing you to some of the more interesting people, as in the brownies and the pixies, the sprites, even the banshees, and some of the more unsavories like the red caps. But we also kind of briefly introduced the elves, the divas. The divas are the great healing helpers for those in the healing work and healing arts. We went through some of the merfolk, and I introduced the concept of a Selkie in the second video, but I also did a separate stream specifically about Selkies. So if you're interested in that, it's in the Myth and Tarot title. On YouTube, I have that playlist. I haven't gotten the playlists figured out on Odyssey yet. It's not hard, I just haven't sat down and done it, so I do apologize for that, but we'll get to it. Where am I at here? And then we went over the gods of the Fae, which is the Tuatha De Danann, basically the people of the goddess Danu. So they, like I said, they're the anomaly within the fairy realm. No one really knows how to classify them, which is good and bad, because as deities within the Fae, they shouldn't be easily to put into a box, but at the same time, it helps to be able to figure out where they stand within the realm of the Fae, because it's huge. Then there's, let's see where we are here. And like I said, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of clans within the fairy. So it's something to just be aware of if you ever decide to make working with the Fae a part of your path, or if it's something that you want to introduce into your work in general. They are definitely, they can be helpful, but they can be also little little imps along the way, because they work with you, but they're not like working with the angels or some of the other spiritual beings, because the Fae do have a lot of our characteristics as well. So they can be tricksters, they can be have attitude, they can tell you no, they can totally throw your plans completely upside down. It really depends on what mood they're in and which group you're going with. So, and this is a disclaimer. These meditations are for entertainment purposes, only. They can be very relaxing if you kind of go with the flow on that. And I will say this up front. Do not listen to any of these meditations, mine or anyone else's, if you're driving, operating machinery, or doing something that requires you to be awake and attentive and focused. Meditation, by its very nature, puts you into an alpha mindset, which is a more relaxed, more internal, not out here, in here, function of your brain. And there are some meditations that as you are passing through the layers of consciousness, you will actually step outside of your physical form. So something just to be aware of when you listen to meditations. Just something, like I said, not to. Don't get too wrapped up in that when you're meditating. Just 1 second. Need to double check on something here. Okay. Where am I at here? So with this particular meditation, with the going into the ferry, it helps to have a guide. When I first journeyed into the ferry years ago, I kind of wandered in blind, and thankfully I had a benevolent guide that stepped in to help me along the way, or I probably would have not enjoyed my journey there as much as I did, because it actually can be an extremely fun adventure. Just in sending out a invitation real quick. But it was a lot of fun, and because I had a specific type of guide with me, and at the time, I will say this, I did not know this guide's name, I did not understand the class, I understood nothing. I barely understood the concept of the ferry, so this was quite a few years ago. But the guide that came through at that time has actually been one of my really close working guides, with a lot with the ferry, but I've also found he works really well with... I'm sorry, I'm not sure what my problem is other than my weird work schedule. But my guide has been really helpful, helping me understand elemental energies. And in a lot of ways, he's helped me understand a bit more about how human interaction works, because this particular guide is one of what you could classify as one of the immortals amongst the fairy, and so he's watched humanity for years. So it was definitely a beneficial guide to work with. I don't worship him like that. So that's what I have talked to him, and he has agreed to, if you desire the full experience, he will be there to help guide you along as we go. Understand that with the guide that I am working with, you do not have to worry about getting lost. He's going to make sure that you are going in and coming out properly, because the fairy does have a bad habit of trying to trap people. It's just the nature of the beast. So along this journey, we will be going through a fairy Scythian, or a Sheehan. It's spelled one way and said another, sorry. We will be first going into the Court of Light, the Seelie Court. And from there we will wander into the Unseelie main hall, the Realm of Darkness. And in each hall we will pause to see if any fairies come forward that match your vibration. So there will be pauses along the way, and allow any experience that happens to happen. I'm not going to fill in the blanks, so to speak. So when these pauses occur, be open to the experience. See what you can, just look around while you're in that altered state, and enjoy the experience. The one thing that I will say, have a notebook, journal, scrap paper, something next to you. When you get done with the meditation, you will want to journal anything that you have experienced. You may meet a fairy along the way that you want to learn more about or interact with. As always, I just put out the warning out there because the fairies can be a little bit tricksters. Always use your best judgment. The fairies can be very enlightening, and just taking a journey through the fairy realm without having any interaction, you'll notice things are different. They are just that powerful. And with that being said, the fairy realm as a whole is a realm of magic and mysticism. They do not operate at all like the energy within the third dimensional world that we live in, even the fifth dimensional energy that we're shifting into. The fairies' energy and the fairies' abilities are completely unique to their realm. So interacting with them, working within their realm, does create some different energy fields. So just be aware of that. It's nothing to be dangerous, but it's something to be aware of, that your thoughts, your emotions, where here we have a delayed period, in the fairy things happen a lot quicker. So you want to make sure that when you do work in the fairy, that you are grounding yourself and you know what you're looking for. Just some words of advice. Again, this is just an introduction drive taking you through the path. There's a lot of information out there if you truly wish to seek it out. And I put some stuff in the description if you're interested. If you are looking for something a little bit more deeper, a little bit more intensive, feel free to email me or comment below, and I can let you know of some other resources. I work in the fairy. I'm not a master of it by any stretch, so just something to think about. Anyway, this will take about 20 to 30 minutes, just depending on how things go. So you want to make sure you're comfortable. You can either be sitting upright in a chair, reclining back, or if you choose, you can be laying down. I fall asleep when I do that, so I don't usually lay down to meditate. Basically, find a position that's comfortable for you and start to take a couple of deep breaths. I am going to start some gentle music. If it's too loud, let me know, because of the way this system works. I can't quite tell how loud things are. So, yeah, just, well, actually, we'll test it out real quick. I'll push play on the music, and I'll bring it up on my phone, and then we will see how the balance works. Just to make sure I don't blow anyone's eardrums out. Get into the right program. I don't have everything linked together, so that's my personal quirk there. But yeah, just settle in and get ready to, take a couple of deep breaths. Allow yourself to relax and just start to breathe calmly and quietly. And we'll start the music here and see how loud it is. Gently breathing in, exhaling, feeling the stress and tension flow out from your body. Take a deep breath in, filling your belly with green, vibrant light. Exhale and release any stress from your day. Take another nice deep breath in, breathing in healing yellow light. Exhale, feel your muscles relax and settle down. Take another deep breath in, breathing in that soothing brown of earth, smelling that fresh turned soil as you inhale. Exhale, feel yourself let go of any stress from the day, any tension flowing out. Take another deep breath in, exhaling through your mouth, feeling that healing energy flowing in and out on your breath. Continue breathing deeply in through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you're breathing slowly and gently, bring your attention to the center of your mind, your third eye area. Once you're there in the center of your mind, see a door in the center of your mind area. A great door that leads to the world beyond. This great door can be wooden, metal, or even a curtain, whichever feels right for you. You gently approach the door, and the door swings ever so silently open, or the curtains part, depending on what you see. You step out onto a path, the great broad path that allows you to explore the outer world. You step onto this path and begin to walk. You notice that there's a small dirt path, not covered in gravel like the one you're on, that takes off to the left. You decide to take that path and you wander slowly down this trail, enjoying the evening sky. You look down and notice that this little dirt trail is lined on both sides by mushrooms. As you walk along this path, try to identify the mushrooms. Their beauty and diversity are fascinating you as you walk along. You walk slowly along this path, slowly down the side of a small hill, and this path brings you to a great meadow. The mushrooms spread out, surrounding the meadow all around the edge, forming a perfect circle. As you step into the meadow, a mound begins to grow in the center, in the exact center of the circle of mushrooms. Allow this mound to grow to the perfect size It is a grassy little hill covered in tall grass waving in the wind. You walk around this little mound trying to find a doorway, but you can't seem to figure out how to get in. You know your journey is to take you inside. So you take a deep breath in and exhale, bringing your mind, bringing your focus to the door, to a door into the fairy realm. You feel the hair on your arms stand up as the magic in the air calls the very door that you are looking for into existence. Directly in front of you, you open your eyes in your meditation space, and you see this door on the small mound, the fairy mound. Beside this door also appears a tall figure. Lean, dressed in white, pointed ears holding back silvery hair that flows down to his ankles. A handsome face that looks like it was carved from fire opal, skin that shimmers with faint colors like rainbow flashing on this opal stone. Power radiates from this being. The guide speaks ever so gently and ever so quietly to you. Hello. Walk with me. Touch nothing. Eat nothing in this realm. Keep your mind calm. It will slow them down from seeing what's in your thoughts. You nod your head in agreement. Come, he says. He touches the door, and it squeaks like a creaking old door open. He steps through this door, and you follow. The air is heavy with scents inside the mound. Cinnamon, flowers, something darker, something brighter. He gestures to the right, and you walk down a path. This path feels like soft grass under your feet. There are smaller paths that lead off both sides from the main path you were on. Some of these paths go up into trees, others slip down into hidden caverns. The trees, look at the trees. Your guide on this journey explains the trees contain healing properties. All of them are supporting magic within this realm. Without the trees, the magic would return to a state of instability. You notice the light is getting brighter as you walk along. Feeling that soft grass under your bare feet, you start to squint. The beauty and the light is almost too much. You walk along, marveling at the size of the fairy mound. It looked big on the outside, but it's much more massive on the interior. The guide speaks. Here is the Seelie Hall, gilded in gold and silver. Magic infused in this hall generates the light you are seeing, revealing the so-called beauty within this realm. Looks can be deceiving. Always remember that. He pauses as you both look around the massive room. He asks you personally, Do you see a familiar spirit within this place? A fairy that is familiar to you in any way? Is there any of these fairy that stand out specifically to you? You try to see through the brightness, and your eyes adjust ever so slightly, and you start to see there are small groups scattered around the rooms. A couple sits on the golden thrones at the far end. The king and queen of the fairy have not noticed or acknowledged you, as your guide cloaks your presence from their eyes. You look around and notice if any of the fairies step forward or seem familiar to you. The fairy that could be a guide or a familiar for you will be able to see through the cloaking, and this guide will step forward to speak with you. You ask this fairy his or her name, and any messages, and what clan the fairy is from. The guide touches your arm, telling you that it's time to leave the Seelie Hall. If a fairy came forward to talk with you, remember their name and any message or clan that you may have gained knowledge of from them. You can return to visit with that person, or you can call that fairy to you at any time. As you leave the Seelie Hall, your ears kind of pop like you're going in an airplane, and you realize that the Seelie Hall had a weird noise behind the beauty. You ask the guide about this as you walk, and he responds, "With the light, a type of white noise is created. It was an unintentional consequence of infusing that much gold and silver with that high level of magic and mysticism. It causes the very metal to vibrate to an almost uncomfortable pitch to those who are not familiar with it." He then falls silent again. You notice that the grassy feeling path has changed to something more hard, almost like glass. The guide is watching you as you walk along. You begin to kneel to touch this surface, and the guide grabs your arm and prevents you from touching the ground. It is a form of obsidian. It will not harm you through your feet, but touching it with your hands may be ill-advised. You return to a full standing, and the both of you continue down this hall, noticing that you're entering a new area. The Twilight Hall is up before you. The low light makes the shadows feel somehow alive, because they probably are. This is the Unseelie Hall. Shadows live. Things that go bump in the night reside here. Nightmares walk as one with the living. Your guide speaks. The time between night and day, shadows move with life, hiding the secrets of the night. Here lies those cast out from the land of light and beauty, the nightmares that walk this place. Meet no eyes in this room, as creatures with eyes to spare are watching. As you stand and look around the room, knowing that you are cloaked from view from most of the creatures there, is there any fairy that steps forward to speak with you at this time? For only the fairy that is meant to meet you will be able to actually see you. As you look around the room, looking at things both horrific and awesome, if you see a fairy that steps forward, one that feels resonant or familiar to you, allow this fairy to step forward and speak to you. Again, you can ask his or her name and which clan that they are attributed with, and if there's a message that the Unseelie may have for you. Your guide lightly touches your arm again. The time has come, we must go, he says as he guides you along the obsidian path. You're walking next to him, thinking about all of the things that you have seen this day. The unbearable beauty of the light, the almost nightmarish visions of the Unseelie court. And as you walk along, the obsidian path begins to turn into grass again. The nightmares are left behind as you walk along this wide path, and you walk up to a door, but it's not the door you came in. You look around, searching for the very door that you walked through. The guide is watching you as you look to this door and then look around, trying to find the right door. The guide has a small smile on his flashing, colorful face. This is the right door. The magic of this place changes appearances. Glamour is a powerful form of magic. It can hide anything, alter things, but it's usually used to confuse. A handy tool when you need to escape or hide in plain sight. The guide holds his hand up and the door opens back into the meadow where you first began. You breathe a sigh of relief as you step out into the familiar meadow. The fresh air from the meadow is a delight to your lungs. The guide steps out behind you, and you hear the creaking of the door closing. A slight breeze blows up out of nowhere, blowing your guide's hair out and around him like a halo, a silvery ocean of hair and light. He speaks. Return to your home, enriched by this journey, humbled by this power. There are great lessons here, great dangers as well. Magic and power always have a cost within the realm of the fairy. With that being said, the wind swirls around him. His silver hair moves like liquid as it wraps around his body. Then with a flash, he is gone, and the wind stills to absolute quiet. You turn back to the trail lined with mushrooms. Walking back along the small trail, you think about the things that you have seen, the new fairies you have met if one has come forward to meet you, and the warnings from the Opal and Silver Guide. There's so much to learn, and your journey has just begun. You make it back to the main path, leaving the mushroom-lined path behind as you walk along the graveled path back to the great door of your center mind. Stepping back into your mind, the great door, wood, metal, or a curtain, silently closes behind you, bringing your awareness back to this now moment, to your body, breathing deeply and slowly. Breathe in through your nose, bringing in vibrant green light. Exhale, coming back to your body, breathing in a soothing white light, breathing in the now moment. Exhale, feeling yourself grounded in this now time. Continue breathing slowly in through your nose as you feel a grounding cord from your root chakra. Exhale, feel it flow down through the planet into the very heart of Gaia, anchoring you and supporting you in this now moment back in your physical form. Inhaling the healing energy from Gaia up through your grounding cord. Exhale, wiggling your fingers and toes, giving your wrists a little roll, moving your feet. Breathing in, feeling your mind settle back into your body. Exhale, and whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. And don't forget to journal any experiences that you may have had along the way, any thoughts, any epiphanies, things like that. And if you have questions, you can leave them in the comments section below, and I will get to those as soon as I see them. If you enjoyed this type of video, this type of meditation, if you drop a like on the video, I'd really appreciate it. Share this video if it's something that you think others might enjoy. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We're trying to build up a little channel here. So with that, I will let you guys go. You can come back to this meditation at any point in time and just go back through the journey through the fairy. And we'll mute the music here. And thank you guys for coming, and I will talk to you in a future video. Have a great week.